folks, it's Miss Hope here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to lead you in making your very own paper mosaic. So mosaics are usually made out of tile and glass and all sorts of broken stuff. And so we want to think about, today we're making ours out of paper, but we want to think about the way in which in art as in life, a lot of times things that get broken and discarded and are no longer useful can be made into something new and something beautiful. So the things you'll need today are glue, scissors, a piece of background paper that could be black or white or colored, it's up to you, some colored paper, and if you want magazine pictures, and some unwrapped crayons, something bumpy, that could be cardboard, or this is a piece of screen, or you could use your shoe, you'll see, and some white paper. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do for our mosaic is to make some textured paper. So texture means how bumpy or smooth something is. So I have this cardboard that's kind of bumpy, I have this placemat that's also kind of bumpy, and this piece of, I think it's embroidery board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, put it underneath, and then I'm going to take my crayon that doesn't have a wrapper on it, I've peeled the whole wrapper off, and I'm going to fold it sideways, and whoa, the paper is on top of the texture thing, and I captured the texture underneath. And then I'm going to overlap and see what different colors look like when I overlap them together to make this super cool textured paper. And maybe I'm going to try overlapping different styles. That yellow doesn't show up. I'll go back to orange. I can go around my house and do a texture hunt to see what else might have texture. Does the bottom of my shoe have texture? I think this little basket has some texture. I'm going to see if I can capture that. Some things might work better than others, but you can just try it. I'm getting that texture. Once I have a bunch of different papers done, all the way filled up, all the way to the edge, then I'm going to start to make my plan for what my picture is going to be of. So, I did a picture of a flower for mine. I started with a center and I worked my way out, but you could really choose something else. It's totally up to you. This person did a heart, we have a sun over here. This is just kind of a circular design. It's really up to you as the artist what you want to do. So, I'm going to get my background paper and I'm going to start to cut up some mosaic pieces. So, for doing a flower, I'm going to cut a circle part for the center, but then the rest of my pieces are just going to be kind of random mosaic pieces. So I might kind of choose a color pattern or a color scheme. So I think I want mine to be kind of warm colors like yellows and oranges. So I'm just going to start cutting, and this is really a fun part. I'm just making shapes with my scissors. If I make them really small, my mosaic will take a long time. If I make them bigger, my mosaic won't take as long. So it's really up to you how small you cut them, how long you want your project to take. Once I have some different shape, color pieces, I might use this magazine. I don't think I want any of the words, but I do like this bright yellow color. So I'm going to cut up some of those yellow pieces to be part of my mosaic. Then I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna take my squeezy glue, and when I use squeezy glue, I don't want to use too much or it'll squeeze out the side. So my students and I often say dot, dot, not a lot as we go around. You want to get to the edges, but you don't want to use too much. I might have even got too much. I'm gonna glue that down. Then I'm gonna start with my flower design. So you could plan the whole thing out ahead of time if you wanted and then glue it down, but I tend to like to work intuitively and just kind of glue as I go. If I make a mistake, that's okay. So I'm making sure I get dots in the corners. And when I'm putting my mosaic together, I want to think about the pieces not quite touching. So I want to fit them together almost like a puzzle where they fit, but they don't overlap or touch. But it is really up to you what you want it to look like. So I'm going to keep having these pieces go out and out and out around from the center piece. I'm might use some of those magazine pieces that I cut that are a slightly different color. Then once I have my yellow almost all the way done, I'm gonna move to adding a different shade. So I might go to orange or maybe a dark yellow. I'm gonna let these pieces kind of continue out. Once I've added orange, I might go to some dark orange. And if a piece doesn't quite fit where I want it to, I can always change the shape as I go to make it so that it fits in that spot, or I can just find a different spot or a different piece. It's really up to you how you want to work with this. Once I feel like my flower design is almost finished, then it might be time to add a stem. So I have some dark green. Oh, I can't keep adding these petals. If it goes off the page, that's okay. We'll trim it at the end. So then, to give this flower a stem, I'm going to use a long piece of my green paper that I have here. I'm just going to cut it into a shape, and then maybe I'll trim it so it fits. And then do the same thing, adding dots of blue all the way to the edges. Put this in here, and then maybe some of these other green pieces are going to be leaves coming out from the side of this flower. They could be any sort of shape. It's totally up to you. I could also add other little flowers in here if I wanted. Or maybe some of this is grass. I don't know. It's up to you how you want it to look. Once I have that part down, then I'm going to use this textured paper that I made for my background. So I'm going to chop it up into a bunch of pieces, and I might even do some smaller pieces for this because I have some little spaces around in this background area. Then I'll fit these pieces into the background however I'd like. It's up to you if you want to use multiple colors, if you want to use the textured pieces. The suggestion that I have is to use a contrasting color, which means one that is not the same as your flower, unless you want your flower to just go all the way out to the edges of the page, which is an option too. It's totally up to you. So, once my paper is all the way filled, all the way to the edge, then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off anything that's stuck over the edge, like these pieces. And also, if some of these little edges, corners didn't stick all the way down, I might go back down in and add a little bit more glue. So, that is our project for the day, and I hope you had fun mosaicing. And I hope you have the good life that you deserve.